beautiful people. Permit me to say this that August, right, that August 4th in Burkina Faso was supposed to be the representation of Pan-Africanism in Burkina Faso. It was a day that was supposed to represent resistance and a revolutionary shift in Burkina Faso, which is supposed to be a day that marks the legendary Pan-Africanist in Burkina Faso, Thomas Isidore Sankara, right? But, a lot of people came out to mark this day, clad in their Burkinabe revolutionary jerseys, uniform. The Burkinabe flag was out there. And a lot of people, they were celebrating Burkina Faso on this very day, the August the 4th. Now, why a lot of people were celebrating Burkina Faso on this day, we had something else going on. Now, I just got some intelligence information and I'm going to be bringing it out to you. So, some of the Burkinabes that have been declared persona non grata, why were they declared persona non grata? They were declared persona non grata because they were serving the interests of the imperialists in Burkina Faso. For you to understand what I'm just saying right now, there are certain people in Burkina Faso who reside, almost all their life, they've resided in France. These people, they are being backed, they are being funded by the West to support the agenda of France in Burkina Faso. Now, I don't know if we can call this an institution, right? But these people are heavily funded, they are backed by the West, and they are probably almost in every West African countries. So they fund the agenda of the West without any uprising against the Western agenda in those countries. So what happened is they've been making online videos. Now, don't forget, these were the same people that backed and supported the coup of Colonel Sandaogo Eri Damiba. The last coup where he was captured. And when he was arrested in Togo, these were the same people that put pressure on the Togolese government to at least release Damiba to the ECOWAS countries, but not to Burkina Faso. So these people, they took advantage with the help of French propaganda media like RFI and France 24. They took advantage of the atmosphere, which has not been favorable for them in Burkina Faso. They said Captain Ibrahim Traore made some statement, after he said that Burkina Faso would not be permitting Sharia law in the country, and the freedom law that has been enacted in Burkina Faso, that everybody has the right to practice their religion free and fair. They were against it. Now we know that there are some delusional people that will be against such declaration, right? But the problem is these people were only trying to use the statement that Captain Ibrahim Traore made in Ouagadougou as a springboard to actualize their nefarious agenda, which is it was going to start from being a common protest, then it will graduate into something that looks like a violent revolution that is going to be pro-imperial. So what happened? There is a man who is the intelligence chief of Burkina Faso who has not been seen recently up until the time of the protest, and that man is Omari Yabre. So the fact that this agenda was put in place and they could not find this man, they were in a state of dilemma. They were in a state of Tovi, where they had to start making guess, where is Omari Yabre? Has he been arrested? Is there a power struggle in Burkina Faso? But what they did not know was that the operational security of, Omari Yabre was being concealed, being the intelligence chief of Burkina Faso, that have been at the heart of every foiled coup d'etat and Western agenda in Burkina Faso. So what did we have at the end of the day? We had a situation where, the coup, what that's what we'll call it. The coup that was orchestrated in form of a protest did not even materialize. It did not even start at all in Burkina Faso. And why did the coup not start? Number one, the revolutionary people of Burkina Faso were outside. The dogs were outside. Everybody were outside because they would, this day, August 4th, means a lot to the Burkinabe people. Now, don't forget, the Burkinabe people, they have already released a warning before the August 4th that anyone who dares to go against the revolutionary vision of the revolutionary Burkinabe people, those individuals were going to smell their duty. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me not deceive you. Nothing happened. According to information, some of the clerics that tried to put up some nefarious statements, they were apprehended. So it was not because they did not plan to do something. According to the information we got, some elements in France, there is a particular family that was mentioned. I will not put the name out there because I can't independently verify. But there is a name we are hearing. They call this man Barry. Something like Newton Barry. Is it Alpha Isa Newton Barry or something like that? They funded some demonstrators heavily. So they've provided the financial logistics for the protest to start. Now, if France had some machineries in place, now don't forget, there is this thing called that France normally creates. They created it in Mali. They like to create a sort of opposition and they will give them a name. They will give them like a political name. So that opposition was supposed to be funded by France, supported by this nefarious element, and JNIM was supposed to be their military structure. So when they talk about having a caliphate, these people are serious with the agenda of France. So it questions everything that France has ever done in Africa, most especially in the Sahel. We need to question everything and ask the question, what was France's real intent in the Sahel? Because if you are saying that the JNIM is the military arm, you call them military, a terrorist organization. So you say, if you can say it's the military arm of certain political movement, you call them the opposition, then it means a thing. Now, the protest did not happen. Number one, the Wayinians were outside. Now, the Wayinians, they are this individuals in Burkina Faso that have decided that they love what Captain Ibrahim Traore is doing. And they vouched that whatever it takes, anyone that wants to get to Captain Ibrahim Traore must go through them first. According to one of their speech, that is now a very, very popular speech now out there. It's in the public domain for those who can find it. When Yusra Ebage, the Sudanese British journalist that represented Sky News, came to Burkina Faso and asked one of the group of Wanyas that were situated in a particular place, and she asked them, what do you think about Captain Ibrahim Traore? And the people told her, even though she tried to twist the narrative, go and watch the video. They told her, they said, after God is Captain Ibrahim Traore. That's what they said. These are some civilized set of human beings in the continent of Africa that are beginning to understand the essence of sovereignty, the essence of self-love, the essence of accepting your identity and wearing your pride on your sleeves. These are the Burkinabe people we're talking about. So, the Wayinians were outside. The Rapid Intervention Brigade was outside in Bobo de la Soul, in Ouagadougou, and in some other environment. According to information, there was an early morning attack by the JNIM in Djibo. And if you want to see the provisional toll of some of these elements that were thoroughly crushed, you can go to our Telegram channel. You will see the videos of these elements there. In Djibo, they attacked in the early hours of the morning. This is to tell you that Burkina Faso was ready for all possibilities. But ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, the coup did not, the protest did not happen. If they were intending to turn it from a protest to something else, it did not happen. Nobody came outside. Now let me send a message out there. Do you know why this protest did not happen? Because these corrupt elements in diaspora that were trying to destabilize Burkina Faso, the reality in which they exist is different from the realities of the Burkinabe living in Burkina Faso. I will explain to you. Okay, let me just give you one simple illustration. Some of the people in diaspora, they are people that we in Africa see as people that have a lot of opportunity. Your family has to be rich. Like, you have to have certain advantage for you to be there. So imagine if we have different opinion. They don't live here. They are not under the economic situation of what we are facing in Africa. So if you cannot support as a diasporan, you definitely know that wherever you stand, that is other than supporting this vision, it will not happen. Not even in Nigeria, not in any other country of Africa. So these people, they have always been funded by the West to make sure that certain structures are being planted within the country to destabilize the country and maintain the occupation of the imperialists in Burkina Faso. You did not see these people when Burkina Faso people were being killed. You can imagine how complicit these individuals are. We did not see these people when ordinary Burkinabe could not afford medical care. When ordinary Burkinabes, 400 of them were neutralized in a day. When 300 were neutralized in a day. You did not see these people when 98 was neutralized in a day during the era of Damiba. We did not see them. But now that Burkina Faso is looking very, very good, have you seen the latest infrastructural development in Burkina Faso, where they compared the democratic primary school that was built during the era of democracy and the one that is being built currently under the revolutionary regime? It's a gulf. It's a gulf. See, when you look at those infrastructure, you will know that one administration was busy looting and plundering the wealth of the country, while another administration was taking care of the future of the Burkinabe. This is no joke. This revolution respects nothing that looks like the imperialists. Now, the imperialists has no color, so we understand that. So what France was trying to do was to hide behind the color of a black man. Michael Langley did it, he failed. Newton Barry did it, he failed. Multiple people, Damiba tried it, he failed. So the coup did not happen because the mistake that these individuals used to make is that they believe in Western propaganda. They are being funded. They try to manufacture consent. They stay outside Burkina Faso and try to create this imaginary spectacle of something that looks like a power struggle or whatsoever. So they saw the speech, which was legendary for people that have the revolutionary mindset. They saw the speech they saw it as an advantage to leverage and to try to destabilize Burkina Faso. Now, you should understand that why they were making this plot. The Western propaganda machinery of France, RFI, France 24, Al Jazeera English, BBC, and all of that, they were waiting. Yeah, the script was already written. What they would have said was not the fact that maybe the coup was stopped or the coup. No, they would just want to see certain demonstration. And once they see the demonstration, the narrative they would have put out in the public is that there is a power struggle, there is tension in Burkina Faso. Don't forget, when Imam Dr. Kindo, who went to Saudi Arabia to study Islamic jurisprudence, who got his PhD in Saudi Arabia, the School of Medina, who studied Sunni Salafi Wahhabism. That's what he studied. These are people that preach extremism. When he was arrested, What did the West call it? They said, oh, the Burkinabe, they're trying to destroy, the religious freedom and all of that. But that wasn't what it is. So those people only care about the narrative they're trying to push to the mind. Like I've always said, every information that you get as an African from the Western propaganda machinery is not real information. Yeah, even if it's a situation you witnessed, you were there, nobody, see, when you look at their framing, for the people that are naive, they might not see it. But when you read between the lines, you will discover that there are certain clauses to those statements just to manufacture the sense and undermine true governance or revolution or anything that is anti-imperialist in Africa. Now, the protest did not happen. Now, it does not mean that these people will not still go and sit down somewhere and plan that, okay, what other options do we have? Because let me tell you something. In Burkina Faso, the options of the West are so limited. Why? The coup machinery they had before, the number one was Damiba. Damiba has been arrested. He's in prison in Burkina Faso. They are trying to use any advantage. If he makes a speech, they will try to turn the speech upside down. It's not working. They are trying to create a sort of situation where they want to say Burkina Faso is not working well. The citizens are not even... When you watch the video of Yusra Ebage, everybody she asks questions from in Burkina Faso, go and study. What she was saying was different from what the citizens were saying. Yusra Ebage, at one point, even if you look at, the Western media is dangerous. There was a point when the people, the Wanyia, said that after Captain Ibrahim Traore, it is God. No, they said after God is Captain Ibrahim Traore. Then one of them said, Captain Ibrahim Traore is president for life. That's what they want. They don't want any other. They don't want election or politicians in Burkina Faso. Imagine what happened after. The Western media took that simple statement. They said Captain Ibrahim Traore is trying to become president for life. This is just another African man speaking out of extreme joy because of the infrastructural development they are seeing, because of the modern empire real estate transformation they are seeing in their country. A country where the citizen no longer see on paper what revenue they are generating from gold. It is not that they are hearing on Western media that Burkina Faso has developed this. They can see the practical manifestation of the infrastructural development. The revolution is optical. You can see it. They are a part of it through the Faso Member project. Captain Ibrahim Traore is honing and stropping the mind of the Burkinabes to turn towards manufacturing. This is truly legendary, in my opinion. A lot of people say it's the reincarnation of Thomas Sankara. In my opinion, I think Ibrahim Traore is Ibrahim Traore. Yeah, and I know what I'm saying. This is something out of the books. So, the plot did not even make it to the front page. But according to the information we had, some, clerics were detained. I don't know what they are trying to achieve. So if that's true, which I can't independently verify, they will now have to go and go through what they call the patriotic immersion program. So they will go and learn to be patriots of their country, which is what should be. Captain Ibrahim Traore is not a president that anybody should toy with. Just the way the Russians love Vladimir Putin. Can you say that the Americans love Donald Trump? That's the question I'm putting out to the people now. So just the way the Russians love Vladimir Putin, people in Burkina Faso, Africans at home and in diaspora, we love Captain Ibrahim Traore. And we would not tolerate any efforts to undermine Captain Ibrahim Traore. Not even for a second. So ladies and gentlemen, homeland or death, that we will prevail. It's not just a rhetoric. It is an idea. It's a philosophy now that is accepted by our own free will. All right? So when a revolutionary emerges, other revolutionary mind will be born. See, this thing is like a candle. It brings illumination. Other candles will start burning. And before you know, you will have a gigantic flame. So, ladies and gentlemen, enough of plundering in Africa. So the coup did not happen. And the reason why the protest or the coup, because they already funded it, all right? And at the same time, early in the morning, the JNIM tried to attack a place in Djibouti. They were completely destroyed. So it means one thing, that whatever plot they had, Burkina Faso did not even quake. They did not even quiver. So this only means something, and this is beautiful, that Burkina Faso is not a place to be messed around with. Now, let me wrap it up like this. Kudos to the Burkinabe. And this is a challenge to the Islamic extremist world and the religious extremists out there. All right? Because if this protest had happened, right? Because things like this happen very well in Nigeria and there's nobody to put them in check. But if Burkina Faso have been able to defile this in Burkina Faso, it means Burkina Faso have been able to put out the blueprint there that every sovereign nation state should ensure that law and order and sovereignty and the constitution of that country comes first before anything else. Burkina Faso, the ancestors of Burkina Faso existed long before this religion came. So nobody, even before the Arab slave trade, so nobody should try to undermine Burkina Faso as a state. So that is what Captain Ibrahim Traore is saying, that the nation of Burkina Faso is bigger than any religion. So ladies and gentlemen, what I want to say at this point is that Burkina Faso is putting the message out there. Burkina Faso is showing the example. Burkina Faso is making it clear to everyone that if we can do it and we can succeed, you all out there can do it and you can succeed. It's not a big deal. Now, we are getting information because the latest military academy student that have just graduated in the military school of Burkina Faso, when I was reading through the graduation statements, the communique, I found out that there was a percentage that were Burkinabe, and some of these students were not Burkinabes. So according to the information, after their graduation, they will go back to their country. What does that tell you? It means that there are certain countries within Africa that are now sending their military personnel to Burkina Faso to go and train. They might possibly be democratic countries, all right? But that is a clear message that some leaders are already looking at the template and the blueprint of Burkina Faso. Even though their hands and feet are within the shackles, the whims and caprices of the colonialists. But they surely know that the framework of Burkina Faso is truly revolutionary and is truly productive. And that is why they are sending their military. Do you know what it means when you send your military to a country to go and train? So this is the era where African leaders are no longer looking to Washington or Paris, or they are looking to Pakistan to send their military. Now they are sending them to Burkina Faso to go and get some training. Ladies and gentlemen, that message is huge. And it's at this point I want to draw the curtain and I want to wish you all farewell. I'm coming out on a different platform to talk about this because after getting the intel, I said it's very, very important that I bring this information to the people. If you enjoyed the video and you think that we've given you some value for this 24 minutes content, you can help us to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Catch me on the Android community, which we call BUNMI. If you type BUNMI on YouTube, you are going to see us. We'll be coming live around 12, between 12 to 1. We have another discourse to bring to you. Ladies and gentlemen, the situation in West Africa, the situation in the continent of Africa is at its all-time best. Things are coming up, things are coming back down. Revolutionaries are rising, things are changing. Africans are beginning to have a hope that tomorrow can truly be great, a tomorrow that will be written, designed by Africans for African people. So, ladies and gentlemen, homeland or death is just not a simple rhetoric. It is a spirit that guides us all. So, thank you and God bless you. Aluta